Welcome back to Biblio Fitness. Hope everyone's had a great day, a great weekend. According to a lot of news, we just suffered through the 4 hottest days recorded in history. Well, that's it's quite absurd. But I guess this is just a natural progression of nature itself. I guess we're gonna go through one of these stages, and obviously I'm not gonna go into the whole climate change argument. That's a rabbit hole I don't want to touch anytime soon, because I am nowhere near as knowledgeable anyways to be engaged in that subject to begin with. So to get rid of that tangent and go on to the main topic of today's episode is an interesting point, as always, that is that's made by Nietzsche when he's talking about when an individual commits a transgression against his or her neighbor, and once they overcome their vanity and pride, they want to go ahead and prostrate themselves before them and apologize and place their pride to the power under place it beneath the contempt of the neighbor. And he talks about how even in this interaction of you castrating yourself before this individual, you're actually doing it for yourself. This is not altruistic. You're not really doing it to rectify your actual transgressions towards him. He's just or him or her, they're just this medium in order to conduct this play, in order to feel this elevation of power, because in that sort of whole dichotomy of slave and master morality, to castrate oneself and to confess one's faults and sins, and to constantly keep it in the front of your mind, how with the whole original sin and how flawed we are and how evil we are. And it's only through the grace of God can we ever release ourselves from this sort of suffering and whatnot. So seeking forgiveness from the neighbor with that in mind is very selfish, right? Like, you're only doing it to feel a sense of power, to feel closer to this God by committing these acts and saying, look how great I am, look how virtuous I am by placing myself before my neighbor. And I guess it always goes back to a very interesting, a very similar concept throughout Dawn of Day. I can't believe, I don't hear it as much as I think I should. It's really good. How, coming from that lower or resentful morality, that pessimistic morality, you create a lot of labyrinths, right? You construct a lot of falsities and a lot of lies, and you're very dishonest. And I was listening to a Nietzsche podcast. I was listening to a video talking about, oh my goodness, I forgot. Oh yeah, Master and Slave Morality. He was talking about what happened in something that Nietzsche wrote in Beyond Good and Evil, which I'm going to read once I read some more and get back to that. But he was making the comparison how when the aristocrats always felt contempt for the masses because of their constant lying. How they construct all these moral virtues and placing virtues that would support them, pity and camaraderie and utility, as a means of what it is to be good or evil. Instead of their liquidity, their ability to reciprocate favor, their ability to reciprocate violence if need be. It's never pity. It's never someone bestowing upon you without you earning it first. And if you're coming from that lower morality and since you can't exhibit power, because we all want to exhibit power, we all want to be able to tell ourselves we are in control. We like to feel these momentary exaltations of power as it be. And since you can't present it in a physical manner, and in a manner bestowing, like, with pride, or with countenance, or with strength, and with ability. It has to be through mystery. It has to be through pomposity. It has to be through the fear of the unknown. Like, how can you possibly know this information? Like, what secret do you hold that lead you down this irrational conclusion? Why? Like, how are you? Like, what sort of communication are you having with these gods for you to be able to get down to this, to go down this, to this conclusion, right? And it really goes to show how elaborate, how much lying we need to do, coming from a very Christian way of thinking, and it's contrast to the honesty of an individual, the honesty of someone that knows that they won't suffer for saying what they want to say. They're not scared of saying what they truly want to say, because they have confidence in themselves. And it's just different sorts of, how one exhibits, how one feels, or, how one manifests these feelings of power, these higher moments, or whatever the case may be, how, even seeking forgiveness in itself is a means of getting closer to God and getting closer to divinity. We're quite selfish, but we never want to quite admit it, as it were. But this is a really fucking good book. I think it's gonna give me a really good foundation for the rest of the works that I want to read about him, read from him, obviously. So honestly, that'll probably be all for today. Hope it's not as hot as these other days, but it kind of feels like it's going to be. But thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. Hope you all make amazing gains. Until next time, peace.